The leadership has to come from the top.
And you're talking about training relative to the management of this type of situation.
This type of situation or any other type of situation.
Hey, let's talk about that for a minute. Is there a perception in the black community that violence is out of control?
Yes.
With the police? There is.
Yes.
Why?
Because of what happens to African Americans. Young people are being stopped. They're not just being stopped and in the regular way that people are stopped. They're being stopped, they're being roughed up, they're being manhandled, they're being talked to in a very disrespectful way. They stop people really for no reason. And then I went to the courts. That was on Tuesday of last week, and I sat there and I watched all of those young people coming in, and a lot of those charges are money makers.
Well,
obstruction of official business. What does that mean?
Well, I wouldn't say that all the police are bad. This is a situation.
Well, that's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're talking about issues that I have observed, and these are facts. We're not saying that all police are bad. We're not saying anything is bad. We're talking about issues and facts. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about what is happening.
Well, on this incident that we had dealing with this, focusing on this 62-year-old young lady who was killed by the police, her instance being mentally challenged, being in her room, the correct people were called by Tanya Murphy, who was the owner of the home, and they sent the wrong people. They should have sent the crisis team in to handle that, of which the police coming off of a burglary or a break-in, and then they're aggressive and that move, and then they run over here to this address and they're aggressive in that move, and I feel as though the officer panicked and shot the young lady who was in the bedroom, from talking with the chief, in her bedroom on the upstairs with her hands under the pillow in the air, and they told her to let us see what's in your hand, and then they tried to stun gun her, which did not work, and then they did something else and shocked her, and she said a few things and rose up and came at him, and then bomb, bang, bang. Impulse, unnecessary, uncalled for.
Relatively new police officers, as I understand.
I think 3 years, 5 years, but you know, the woman she's dead. Her family has to go through this. The owner of the home has to go through this. The community has to go through this.
Well, is your point, though, is your point the same as Ann's point, that they're responding, they're reacting too quickly, they're reacting intentionally?
I wouldn't say intentionally, because you have to call that card as you see it, and this is a card that we're calling on the carpet as far as the mishap by the officers. Now, you have some officers who may have handled that differently. Perhaps the male officers may have handled it differently.
And your passion seems to be a little different than Pastor Brock's passion on this. Too many times you've seen this. Why?
I am not trying to soft pedal this.
Correct.
This has happened all too often, and we have been all too forgiving. It is time that we hold the right people responsible for the actions of the Toledo Police.
And who would be the right person?
Well, it would have to be the chief of police, or it would have to be the mayor, because the buck stops with the mayor. We have a strong mayor form of government, and I know that the chief of police has to answer to the mayor. So something should have been done a long time ago. But the leadership has to come from the top, and Chief Navari is the top as far as the police are concerned.